Reynor preparing for Katowice, I guess. I imagine so. I imagine, I think he said it himself, right? At the start of the year, he was talking about how, like, he was going to be, like, you know, like, hibernating and boot camping a little bit and preparing for IEM. So it's really cool to see. As a viewer, as a caster, I appreciate it. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Hardland. We have our South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Red Zerg player from the land of Italy going for a 15-15, as he usually does, representing Team Basilisk. It is Reynor. Here we go. So again, for those that are curious, Reynor has been very fond of the 15-15 opener in almost every match. Actually, yeah, every matchup. Doesn't do it every game, but most games here, especially against Terran, he's been fond of going for a 15 hatchery into a 15 spawning pool into a delayed gas geyser. Now, this feels very stylistic from Reynor. There's a bit of a give and take here. On the one hand, really late gas, really late link speed as a result. Because of this can lead into roach play, definitely, depending on when the gases are taken. But what this also means, because it's a fast spawning pool, is that against the first couple of Reapers, you can defend with purely Queens, and you actually skip links. You avoid link production, you drone up a little bit harder, you focus on mineral income, and you just focus on Queen production instead. So it is an opener that Reynor has been whipping out almost every single ZvT over the past month or so, 2 months. It's been a while. Has been a while. I want to say like almost 2 to 3 months. Meanwhile, behind this, ByuN going for a Rax expand. Interesting. ByuN has been very fond of his own 2 Rax Reaper build, even in the new patch, but here he's going for a much more tame, a much more standard opener instead. This makes sense. This is a rematch. For those that were here for it, earlier in the week, ByuN and Reynor did compete and did play in Masters Coliseum. We watched them, we were able to cast them face off in Masters Coliseum, and yeah, it was a dynamic series, of course. I mean, in general, the Master Coliseum matches have been beautiful. They've been really intense and really insane. But ByuN did end up falling. He actually had a really hard time against Reynor. If you remember, this was after ESL Open Cup Asia. Winding it back, this was on Monday. Monday night is when ByuN, he actually won ESL Open Cup Asia against Solar, where he cheesed every single game. he played a best of 5 against Solar, and every single game was just proxy Raxes. That was the series where he went proxy double factory Mass Cyclone, just different variations of proxy Raxes, Mass Reaper, Mass Marine, Mass Cyclone, and he beat Solar. He beat him, just cheesing the hell out of him. Then after ESL Open Cup Asia, he competed in Masters Coliseum, where he also played against Reynor. It was a long night. It was a very long night for ByuN, because after he played against Reynor, then he played in Wardy's tournament. So it was just 3 tournaments back to back for ByuN. It was crazy. But in ByuN's series against Reynor, ByuN had a hard time, and he was also really feisty. I don't know what was with ByuN that night, as he does get a tumor, but it went all the way to the ace match, and in the ace match, ByuN went double factory Mass Cyclone. he went for a 1 base all-in double factory Mass Cyclone against Reynor. It didn't work. It did not work against him, and ByuN ended up losing that series, which was brutal. I mean, Masters Coliseum is still going on, and ByuN is still not confirmed for the playoffs, by the way. Like, he's still in the group stage. Still having a hard time. So, yeah, it's going to be a bit of a rematch from earlier in the week. Here we go. Behind this, 3rd CC before starports. Ooh, actually, oh my god, never mind. I mean, technically, yes, economic opener, 3rd CC before starport, but it's a 3rd CC into a 2nd and 3rd Rax. A very aggressive follow-up. So the way this works is that ByuN is going to be going for a delayed medevac drop. The Helis, they dive into the mineral line. A couple of drones going to be going down, but we should be able to clean this up. As the Eva Chamber is thrown down, a couple of workers do line up, but it's not going to be enough. The Queens are trying to keep up. Oh, they're keeping up with these Hellions, and we should shut them down. There's still 3 of them. Soon to be 2, and soon to be none, as we do manage to shut this down. Again, link speed is very late because of the opener of Reynor, but alas, ByuN unable to capitalize on that. As we were saying, though, This is going to be a delayed medevac drop as a result, just because the starport is so late. We're going to be building up a mass amount of Marines, mass amount of bio units here with Stim. And by the time ByuN does move out, he will have that much more to work with. Now, the reason why he dove the way that he did with those Hellions is because of no link speed, is because of the 15-15, and I just wasn't worth it in the end. He killed 3 drones for 4 Hellions. Not ideal. Not ideal for ByuN. Behind this is going to be going double Evo Chamber. Reynor setting up for Ling Bane. No Roach Warren. Saturating his 3rd base. Soon to be getting a 4th as well. And Reynor is looking quite comfortable. Reynor is looking pretty comfortable overall here after the early game. And ByuN is still building up back at home. And here we go. Now we have the medevacs on the way. CC going to be floated over. Like, the downside here is that, again, because this drop is delayed, Reynor, he's had so much time, so much freedom to spread his creep. And the creep is getting a bit out of hand. We're getting up to the halfway mark. We've got our 4th base on the way. The queen count looking solid. 9 queens in total. 1-1 on the horizon. So this is a bit of a greedy move here out of Reynor. I'm a little bit concerned. Because he saw the faster 3rd CC, he skipped his Bailey Nest. Or I should say, he delayed his Bailey Nest in favor of 1-1 upgrade. Bailey Nest is now on the way. Lair is now on the way. This means that Bailing's speed has been delayed, so he's going to have to rely on Ling Queen to defend early on. And against this many Marines, I don't think Reynor was really expecting this. Here we go. The Marines are still on 4th. They're diving on top of the Queens. But now just focusing on some creep. Tumors will go down. Going for the hatchery. Ling's looking for a dive, looking for a surround. ByuN will respect it. He sees him out of army. He wants none of it. He backs up. Really mature decision. We have 20 more Lings in production as well. So plenty of reinforcements on the way. Let's be honest, this time he does commit to the dive. Gets 1 queen. Gets 1 queen. Could get a 2nd. Clutch transfuse. Yeah, 2nd queen goes down. Medevac's taking a bit of damage, but really good at kiting here off of creep. And again, without Banelings, these Lings are having a hard time. These 0-0 Lings at that. 1-1 still on the way. But the Marine army is just amassing so heavily here, and we're snowballing out of control. We have broken this base. Again, Reynor had no idea that we had focused and committed to 3 Raxes before even the medevac. And this amount of Marines is not normal. And we catch the Overlords! The Overlord's going to be going down. The Lings as well. And there's just no way to engage. Massive, massive supply block here for Reynor. And this push may just be too much. The mine shot! Big connection. Banelings go down one after the other, and ByuN, he's snowballing out of control. GG gets called, and ByuN will take game number 1. GG. A cheeky build there. A cheeky build from ByuN. Coming out of left field, 3 CC, 3 racks follow up. As a result, more Marines than are normal at that time, and Reynor was caught off guard there, was not ready for that amount of Marines that early on. And yeah, with that, Reynor, he was punished. He was punished for cutting corners, punished for specifically delaying his Bailings and going into faster 1-1. I mean, even then, though, like, there was just so many Marines to work with. With the control of ByuN, may have had enough to break him anyway, even if Reynor had opened up a little bit safer. And yeah, ByuN takes the lead in the series. Does take a lead. GG. Unfortunately, we weren't able to really sink our teeth into that TVZ just because it ended almost off of the opener there from ByuN. His 3rd base was getting up and running behind it. We were working on upgrades. But did catch Reynor with his pants down. And with that, here we go. We're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura. We have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Italian Zerg player representing Team Basilisk. It is Reynor. And again, when it came to that game, it did kind of come down to the build of choice there. As we mentioned, so traditionally, for a bit of context here, traditionally, if you're up against a 3cc opener, because it's usually 3cc into a starport, into even Banshee play, you can get away with cutting corners and delaying your lair. Oh my god. Hello? You can get away with cutting corners, you can delay your lair, you can delay your Bailey Nest, and traditionally you can get into fast 1-1, which is what Reynor was doing. But ByuN's build wasn't traditional, it wasn't standard, it wasn't normal, and that's why it did so well. That's why it just snowballed out of control, as Reynor is going for a pool first. Very interesting. My eyes are on you, Reynor. Okay, so it's gonna be a pool hatch gas opener, or are we going gasless? We could go gasless. Reynor, bye. Let's see. I'm curious. Now, with this fast winning pool, there we go. We have 4 Lings on the way. We have 6 Lings, sorry, on the way. We can prioritize queen production. I'm curious if we do go for a faster third base or no. Okay, there we go. We go for a delayed gas instead. So a bit of a more aggressive opener here. In general, of course, late gas means late Ling speed. That is true. But with all these early game Lings, we can try to bypass any kind of scouting SCV, get across the map, and ideally delay the CC here. ByuN is going Marine first, by the way, not Reaper first. Interesting. Because of this, he won't have any... I mean, he's not SCV scouting either, so he has no vision of what's going on. He has no idea that Lings are coming out across the map, and he's going Marine first into a reactor. 1 Marine, I don't think is enough to kill 6 Lings. We will delay the CC. ByuN being a little bit greedy here again. If he had gone for an SCV scout, he would know to make another unit. He would know to get ready. Lings have arrived, and there's no saving this SCV. Lings, they get into the main. Will they dive on that Marine? Boys are being pulled, and they have to be. And again, this is already worthwhile damage as we get on top of the Marine. Nope. The Marine does go down, and there's nothing else here. SCV is going to be falling left and right. This is an insane amount of damage, and this should not be happening. 3 workers go down, and the CC is heavily delayed. So a very strong start here from Reynor. Gambling a little bit here. Can I get another SCV? Oh good. Gambling a little bit here, but again, ByuN didn't SCV scout, skipped his Reaper as well, just was woefully underprepared, and did sustain a lot of damage. And just like that, Reynor has a worker lead. He's got a third base on the way. Queens are getting up and running. Reynor is looking comfortable. So a much stronger start here for our Zerg player. Much stronger start. We can see ByuN trying to get into his own Hellions. Ooh, going for a 1-1-1. Oh, was this scouted? Reynor, he did see the 1-1-1. He's aware of the more aggressive opener here from ByuN. And we're going for some drop play. Okay. So, this needs to get damage done. ByuN, he already sustained damage in the early game, and he's delaying his third. His third CC is very late here, so this needs to pay for itself as we're rushing into stim. We're amassing Hellions, getting ready for a drop. And if this gets deflected, if this doesn't kill many workers, then Reynor is going to be running away with this. He's going to have such a strong mid-game. As we have 4 Hellions moving out across the map. Here we go. Reynor fanning out his Lings. He will scout to that medevac. He is aware. He's ready. There we go. Queens are getting in position. Lings are going to be amassing back at home. Ling speed still on the way. The Hellions, they will be deflected here. Behind this, ooh, looking like a 2-base all-in. We throw down a second and a third Rax. Still no third CC. Yeah, we throw down an eBay as well. Very committed here out of ByuN. And again, I think this makes sense. Just because of the opener here, he is going to be, I mean, he's slightly behind. And getting into a longer macro game is going to be a difficult thing to do. Aliens being dropped into the main base. They're going to trade decently well against the Lings, but the Queens do zone them back once again. And we do not touch the mineral line. Flanking Queens coming in. And these Hellions, they're not getting anything done. Oh boy. Now the hope for ByuN, especially because Reynor hasn't scattered. Reynor, he has no idea what's coming up next. It is a 2-base all-in. His hope here is that if Reynor overdrones, but oh, we're playing safe. Unlike the previous game, we have a lair first into a Bailey Nest. We are delaying our 1-1 upgrades, unlike the previous game where we rushed them out. And with this faster lair, with this faster Bailey Nest, we have fast bailing speed, which is just a very safe way to play, which means he will be ready for the eventual push. Will be ready here. So Reynor, he's learned from the last game. He's like, you know what? I'm not gonna cut any corners against ByuN. He's crazy. He's a madman. We'll play safe, but we'll play safe. I mean, after an aggressive opener, to be fair. And there we go. Lair finishes up. Baneliness is done, and Baneling speed is prioritized. Now we're getting into double Eva Chamber. Now we're getting into 1-1. But again, Baneling speed should be done here in time for the push. So Reynor, he's going to have the tools to defend, but it's still about the execution. Can he bring it all together here? The Queens, the Transfuse, the Engage. The Creep is looking good. Creep is looking pretty damn good here, surrounding these bases. And again, it's just still a 2-base all-in here out of ByuN. He's building up a bio-tank army. Stim is done. Combat Shield's on the way. How many tanks? 3, soon to be 4 tanks with +1. This is a pretty hefty army. And as we move out, we do spot this. We confirm. Reynor, he sees the move out. Banelings are amassing. Baneling speed around 80% done. We're almost there. We just have to buy time. Buy time for Baneling speed. Here we go. ByuN is pushing. Reynor getting ready for a surround. Getting ready to come in from behind. Tanks are going to be sieging up. Pretty good position here for ByuN. Very narrow choke point. Again, Baneling speed still just now finishing. It is done. We're amassing more lings. We're amassing more Banelings. Queens are pushing forward, and we will soon pull the trigger. It looks like this hatchery may go down. Okay, Queens have to engage. We're going to have to transfuse. We have to commit. And here we go. We do dive in. Tanks going to get surrounded. The Banelings, they crash on forward into the army. The Queens are taking a lot of damage here on the right-hand side, but we clean up everything else. And with that, Reynor, he will defend. Yeah, GG gets called. We were completely all in, and Reynor ties up the series 1-1. GG. GG. Again, it was a rough start for ByuN as he lost, well, he delayed, his natural waste was delayed. He lost 3 SCVs. Likewise, his follow-up Hellion drop didn't do any damage. He killed like a handful of lings with the Hellions, nothing much more than that, and he was forced into an all-in. Meanwhile, Reynor, this time, didn't cut corners, played safely, was ready for it. Was ready for it. GG, well played. With that, we're going to the ace match, going all the way to game number 3. Let's go. We'll see how this story ends. And so far, it's been a back and forth here. Very aggressive styles out of ByuN. You know, both game 1 and game 2, it felt like he was quite committed in his play. We'll see how we follow this up. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkyone, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion, being forced into the ace match. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, going for the 15-15 once again, as he did in game number 1. We have the Italian Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Team Basilisk. It is Reynor. We have our 15 hatchery on the way, soon to be a 15 spawning pool. As we mentioned before, the advantage here of this is you get into faster queen production. You're able to be a little bit greedier drone-wise, but your link speed is going to be delayed. That is the downside of this build. And link speed is going to be pretty important because ByuN is opening up 2 racks. He's going to be opening up a little bit more aggressively here, as our racks is being set up here on the low ground. And we're going to be going 2 racks Reaper. Oh boy. Now, typically, link speed is the moment when the Zerg player can take map control away from the Terran. It can clean up these Reapers and establish their third base. Without link speed, this third from Reynor is going to be very delayed, or it should be very delayed. We'll see. There have been times where maybe ByuN overextends, maybe he gets a little bit too greedy with the Reapers, and he might lose them to the Queens. There is potential for Reynor to still fight back and to deal with this. As our Raxes are on the way, Deeper being thrown down. There's always potential to throw down a third Rax as well, and go 3 racks Reaper in the main base, but for now, just 2 Raxes. Just 2 Raxes. Reapers are going to be amassing. As we kind of alluded to before, the goal of this build, the goal of this opener, it is not all in by any means. It is not, I mean, it is aggressive, but it's designed to contain, designed to delay the third base, disrupt the economy, pick off a queen if possible, pick off a couple of workers, apply pressure as we expand behind. And again, ideally contain. Meanwhile, first Reaper has arrived. The Overlord's still getting across the map here on the right-hand side. Reaper going straight for the middle line, and it should not get a drone here as we force a gas geyser. We force out a spore. Queen does arrive, and the Reaper will be zoned away. So far, good defense here by Reynor. Meanwhile, additional Reapers are amassing. Getting behind this, we're still focusing on Queen production. A couple of Lings were forced out. And Reynor is now aware, of course, of the Turax opener. He is aware behind this. ByuN being hyper. Oh my god. Being so greedy. The Reapers, they dive in. They get into the middle line, but they will be zoned away. Oh, the Reaper. So low, but does escape. And again, we are containing Reynor to 2 bases. Meanwhile, ByuN, that is a 3rd CC before factory, let alone before starport, which is what we would typically be seeing. So this is a very greedy, very economic follow-up. I mean, the first natural base isn't even done. We already have another CC on the way. So hyper greed here out of ByuN. And so far, Reynor is in the dark, is unaware, is stuck on 2 bases, just now taking a 3rd. As he goes for the 3rd base, ByuN, he comes in! And we'll delay it even further. Oh! So do get forced back. Drone is on the way. Oh! Once again, threatening that worker. 3rd base finally gets thrown down. But again, these Reapers, they did their job. They didn't kill anything, really, but they did contain Reynor and did delay this turn for so long as we rush into a very... It's already done. It's already done, Papi. We're going double eBay. Oh, this is crazy. This is borderline illegal. We're going Turax Reaper into a 3rd CC, into double eBay before factory and before starport. If Reynor Bane busted, ByuN would just be dead. ByuN... He would just be dead at this point if there was a Bane bust follow-up. But the problem here is that Reynor hasn't gone in yet. He's now dipping in with an Overlord Scout. He's now dipping in towards the main base to recognize what's going on. But he's still in the dark. Still doesn't know what's going on. Reynor rushing into a lair. Okay. We have a lair first into a Baneling Nest. Safe opener. Safe opener here out of Reynor. Overlord Scout is going to be denied Reynor. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know how greedy his opponent is. So Reynor is playing safe while his opponent is being greedy. Oh boy, which is a good thing for ByuN. That means that this will not be punished. That means that Reynor is going to be falling behind. ByuN going to be pushing out. I believe this is only for control of the Xel'Naga. I mean, Stim is done, but this is a risky move here out of ByuN. Again, this is a really powerful position just because of the choke points. Like, it is very narrow entryways into the Xel'Naga, so this army trades so efficiently. And again, ByuN shouldn't be pushing onto Kree. He's just chilling. Just going to be chilling here, catching any kind of stray units. Speaking of, Reynor, he dips in and... runs into the Marines. We'll be losing it. Behind this is going to be droning up. Baling speed is on the way again. Safe opener. Now we're getting to our own Evo chambers, into our own upgrades. But ByuN behind this, just getting into really fast 1-1 upgrades into his 3rd base economy. Behind this, getting to really fast armory for 2-2. Like, ByuN is going to be so far ahead in these upgrades. It's actually insane. I'm getting uncomfortable watching this. Like, oh god, it feels illegal, Bob. It feels illegal. Reapers get called out. ByuN gonna be taking that 3rd base and just getting into his 5 racks production here on 3 bases. Marine's gonna be pulling back. Still no factory base units, like no Widow Mines, no tanks, no Hellions, just pure Marine. Reynor's just going to be taking his 4th base. Now, something that I have to be a little bit critical of Reynor here, as he does now check the 3rd base saturation, does see that it's mining, is that once the lair is done, that's typically the timing where we can go for an Overseer Scout, but we didn't see one. So Reynor is still a little bit more in the dark. I mean, is now aware of the 3rd base location, and of course the saturation. Is amassing Wing Bane. ByuN does see the army. He's going to be pulling back. Going to be respecting the positioning here of Reynor. So really good scout out of ByuN. Reynor knows he got scouted. He backs off. So really nice positioning here from both players, respecting each other. Fourth base going to be on the way. You can see here that ByuN is ahead economically. Both players are on even workers, and ByuN has mules on top of that. So ByuN, he has a better economy now than Reynor, which should not be happening in a standard TVZ. Typically, the Zerg player would be ahead in workers and ahead in bases, which is not really the case here because of the opener, because of the build of ByuN. Oh wait, the surround! He's not looking! He's not looking. The Marines, they get caught out, and Reynor, he catches a bit of a break here. He catches the double drop. ByuN looking elsewhere. This is a good start. Wait, we're good. We catch the Marines. Behind this, rushing into an infestation pit. ByuN getting his fourth base on location. And despite having all these Marines, ByuN is yet to be too active, but here we go. Now we're moving out with a quadruple drop. Now we can be active, but Reynor has been happily droning. Hive is on the way. I do like this. So Reynor, he's going Ling Bane into Hive Tech. He is avoiding Hydras for the time being and avoiding Aspire. So Reynor, tech-wise, is being greedy here as a follow-up. Gold base is on the way. ByuN going to be coming in from the right-hand side. Fourth base has been spotted by Reynor. Reynor is in position. Banelings will be rolling in. Good mine shots. Mine kills a good chunk of Banelings. And there's still one more Widowmine behind this. Dude trying to go for surround. Mine shot is once again going off. Mainly on Lings that time, but good connections nonetheless. ByuN backs off. Maintains most of his Marines. Gold base has been scouted, has been spotted. ByuN already has 2-2, by the way, as we're still getting +1 melee for Reynor. 3-3 should be on the horizon. Reynor going for a big counterattack towards that fourth base. ByuN, his fourth is exposed. He's exposed. SCVs are going to get picked off here. Marauders as well. Not bad. Yeah, one Marauder. It could have been worse, but ByuN does deal with this. He is in position, does force his back, and he's looking to catch these Lings. Up. Really good positioning here out of ByuN. Shaves off a lot of Lings. Behind this, Hydrogen now on the way. We can get into Ling Bane Hydra production, into Vipers as well with that Hive, into Adrenal. But ByuN, he's not slowing down. Again, he traded well with the Widowmines, traded well here with the Marines. He has momentum. And 3-3 on the horizon. ByuN pushing forward. The Viper's on the way. Viper not going to help too much against this. The Widowmines are being set up. We are amassing more Ling Bane. How good are the mine shots going to be? So we collapse on forward. Oh! Decent connections. Decent mine shots here on the Ling Bane. The hatchery goes down. Oh my god! We get a juicy connection towards the end. Massive shot on the Ling Bane. At the same time, a double jump towards the left-hand side, and we shut down another hatchery in the blink of an eye. 2 bases go down. 2 hatcheries fall, and we trade well against the army. And just like that, ByuN is maxed out. Reynor down 40 supply. Reynor is falling further and further behind here in the supply, and ByuN, he's snowballing out of control. And pulling Reynor apart. Still in 4 bases, and even base count with the Terran, never something you want to see. 3-3 again on the horizon. We're still getting into 2-2 for Reynor. So the quality of the army still in favor of ByuN. Rock's being knocked down. Creep is receding here. Reynor losing control of the entire map. Now, ByuN, he's taking his time. So Reynor, he's maxing out. Like, Reynor, he's rebuilding his army, getting energy on these Vipers. We'll have parasitic bombs, we'll have blinding clouds. Reynor, he's given a moment to breathe. But only a moment, as we're coming back in. Queen gonna be knocked down. We have a bit of Ling Bane trickling in. Decent connections, but there's just too much buy behind this. Decent mine shot as we slip on forward. We get on top of the Queens. Oh, the splits. Splits looking decent here. The Viper's coming in. And ByuN is reinforcing on the left-hand side. He keeps on pushing. A lot of medevacs. As ByuN keeping the attention of Reynor here towards the south. He pushes it towards the north. Reynor's in position though. He does have some Ling Bane. But can he hold on? Can he survive? ByuN! No splits. Does get caught out. ByuN focusing elsewhere. Focusing here towards the north. And Reynor, he's holding. Reynor, he is holding on. A really good connection here. Even catching some medevacs. Catches some medevacs. Oh, a couple of bathings do connect. Reynor, he's holding onto his bases just barely. The splits this time looking good though. Even picking up some Hydras. Efficient trade here for ByuN, as long as he doesn't lose the medevacs. Medevacs are going down. Reinforcements on the way. ByuN, he's breaking this location. Where are the Bailings? Where are the Bailings? They're not here. The Hydras, they get surrounded. The scan reveals them. We bring everything down. Big loss there for Reynor. The Hydras go down. 8 Bailings are on the way. That's only 8 Bailings, by the way. That is not going to be enough. As ByuN, he keeps on pushing. Reynor, he was holding on just barely earlier, but it's just too much to overcome. 3-3 is kicking in. As +3 armor is done for ByuN. +3 defense on, sorry, +3 attack on the way. The buy shots not going off. And again, we're defending with pure Hydra. Oh my god, some friendly fire. Friendly fire here. Reynor, he does hold on. He's holding. But he lost his base. He lost his hatchery once again. Reynor still on 4 bases, still being denied the 5th. And this goal base is not going to get up and running. It looks like these Hydras are barely going to force this back, but they need support. Hydras on their own are so fragile. They're so exposed. As ByuN, he denies the goal base once again for a second time. We're power bombing because that's all we can do right now. ByuN, he rotates around. Yeah, just double checking, making sure that there is no base, containing his opponent. That's his win condition. Deny the 5th as ByuN takes his own. His 5th, the gold. So ByuN is just continuing to remax. Reynor desperately trying to expand. He just wants the base, Poppy. Lurker Den is done. 7 Lurkers on the way. That is a way to slow down the game. But they're still in production, and ByuN, he finds them. He finds the Lurkers. We force some friendly fire, but the Lurkers, they're going to go down. They will not. They barely finish. We get 3. The Ghost arrived just in time. GG gets called, and ByuN, he will break Reynor, and he will get his revenge. GG. ByuN takes the series 2-1. GG, well played. Oh my god, that was disgusting. the build of ByuN was insane. To go 2-Rax Reaper into a 3rd CC into double eBay as well. That is as greedy as you can get, by the way. That is insane what ByuN did on Alcyone, and Reynor had no idea. He had no idea, which means he wasn't able to punish it. He never was able to get an Overlord into the main base. He never got the Overseer into the main base either. Very limited scouting out of Reynor. I don't blame him. So if you remember this game, Reynor went for a Lair Bailing opening, a Lair Bailing follow-up as his tech of choice, as his build, which is very safe play, very safe. Based on the series, it makes sense, right? It makes sense. Game 1, ByuN went for a very aggressive 3cc variation, and game 2, ByuN went for a 2-base all-in, right? So because of how aggressive ByuN was being, it made sense to open up safely. So ByuN got away with it, and with that, ByuN had insane upgrades and insane economy. That's why he snowballed out of control. That's why Reynor had such a hard time holding on. Reynor had some good fights. He had some moments where he was able to catch some Marines and connect with Bailings. There was some good moments, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't enough to overcome just the advantage that ByuN had in that game, and that was impressive. GG. If you're a Terran player out there, there's a PSA. I feel like I have to do this whenever I cast ByuN, or even Dark as well, or even Hero. There's a PSA. If you're a Terran out there, don't do what ByuN did, because you will die. You will not get away with it. That's not. Hey, people on the ladder are animals, Papi, and being giga greedy like that is it's crazy. Another thing that helped ByuN, it's Alcyone, right? It's a larger map, so longer rush distance by ground, so it's a little bit easier to get away with that. It's a safer 3rd and a safer 4th base. Like this is the kind of build that I expect to see like a Radisson Station, you know? Not another map. So GG, impressive. GG, well played. ByuN does bring Reynor down, does eliminate him from the tournament. Big shout out to Reynor though. I mentioned before, it's really cool to see Reynor a part of these events. Reynor traditionally does not compete in ESL Open Cup America. These are just really bad events for European players, time zone wise. Like, it's very late in Europe when these events are taking place. So Reynor usually doesn't compete. Recently he has been, it's been really cool to see him just kind of like spread his wings and, you know, be more active in the online tournament scene. It's really cool to see. I do appreciate it. Oh. As we're gonna be getting ready here for the next game. He's gonna be getting ready here for the next game. Catching up in the chat. Did that mine blow up a medevac? There was some friendly fire. Yes, there was some mine friendly fire that was going on a little bit. It's not Homonis SCV pull Mass Reaper. True, true. But yeah, with that, we are going to be going on a short break. Going to be going on a short break here because we have wrapped up the quarterfinals. And up next, we have the semifinals and then the grand finals thereafter. So we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we will have 2 semifinals matches. We'll have Hero versus Estrella and Clem versus ByuN. We'll see you guys soon. See you guys in a couple of minutes.